And so the light went off for me, and I got these credit card offers all the time, so I just started storing them and keeping them. And I thought, well, if I apply for all these credit cards all in the same night, they won't hit my credit score and ding it lower, and I'll get high balances on all these credit cards, and then I'll balance transfer the max from these credit cards. And that's what I did. I got like 10 credit cards, got like roughly $10,000 balances on all of them. And as soon as I got the cards, I said, hey, I want to balance transfer from this card over here. Once again, this card didn't have a balance. So they all the credit cards just shipped that card 10 grand. And so I raised $100,000. And you're like, well, yeah, but you got credit card debt. I did, but it was 0% interest for like 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
And so I used that $100,000 to help us buy an apartment complex.
Oh, that's cool.
Welcome back to How to Invest in Commercial Real Estate. Today is an exciting day because we're going to go over the craziest things we've come across in our many, many years of doing commercial real estate.
At least some of the crazy things that we can talk about on camera.
Yeah, and that we remembered. All right, the first one. Joel, hit us. This was your deal.
One.
Yeah, this is an interesting one. Things you don't ever think you're going to run into. We had sold a portfolio of apartments the year before, 318. And hey, we made some money. We're high-fiving. And then we get a call. And apparently while we owned it, someone that didn't even live in our apartments had been drinking, wandered out the door onto the parking lot. And there's a section of parking lot that was uneven. It was like a drop off of like 3.5 feet. I didn't even know it was there. Maybe it was 4 feet. Apparently this guy falls and breaks his neck.
Wow. And
so we get this call and we're like, this guy, he's in bad shape. And we're like, what happened? And they tell us, and even if it was his fault, we should have had a fence on the parking lot. If you have a drop off of more than 3 feet or 4 feet, you have to have a fence. We didn't have it.
Yeah.
Luckily, we had insurance, and the guy was so messed up that we had to settle for the maximum on our insurance, $1 million settlement.
Wow.
A year after we had sold the property to take care of this guy.
So he fell while you owned the property.
Yes,
but then you sold the property.
Yeah, I didn't even know he was hurt. Like when we sold the property.
Sold it. Oh, so they came back after you sold.
Came back afterwards. So anyway, that was a crazy experience, and you better have good insurance to take care of stuff like that. I'm surprised
the insurance company didn't tell you need the fence, so we're not paying. But that didn't happen, huh?
Yeah, it didn't. Luckily for us.
Yeah, thank goodness.
Better make sure you have insurance until literally the last day of closing.
Yes.
All right, next one. This is a fun one because a lot of people want to go buy their big first deal. A lot of people are in like the residential house flipping game or managing, especially from the middle of the country. It seems like most people's retirement is a few houses. Yeah. That's their aspirations. Really for retirement. I'm going to get 3 houses, maybe 5, 10's the most, and I'm done.
Yep.
But anyway,
I hear that a lot.
This is a crazy story about how Joel bought his first apartment complex. And I know we may have told it before, but give us, maybe the little faster version.
Yeah, the 30-second version. This was back in early 2000s when you were getting balance transfers was a new thing, 0% interest on balance transfers. And, I ended up doing one, and I accidentally transferred a balance to a card that didn't have a balance, or from a card that didn't have a balance. So instead of transferring it, they just shipped my other credit card a check for like $5,000 or $10,000. And so the light went off for me, and I got these credit card offers all the time, so I just started storing them and keeping them. And I thought, well, if I apply for all these credit cards all in the same night, they won't hit my credit score and ding it lower, and I'll get high balances on all these credit cards, and then I'll balance transfer the max from these credit cards. And that's what I did. I got like 10 credit cards, got like roughly $10,000 balances on all of them. And as soon as I got the cards, I said, hey, I want to balance transfer from this card over here. Once again, this card didn't have a balance. So they all the credit cards just shipped that card 10 grand. And so I raised $100,000, and you're like, well, yeah, but you got credit card debt. I did, but it was 0% interest for like 2 or 3 years.
Wow.
And so I used that $100,000 to help us buy an apartment complex.
Oh, that's cool. You should do that again.
Yeah. Hopefully I'm past those days.
You don't have to do that anymore.
You probably can't do that again. I mean, there's probably some sort of thing in place to make sure that you can't just go get $100,000, or you can't just,
Well, I think what they started doing was they started saying, okay, we'll balance transfer for the balance, but it's like a 2 or 4% fee of any balance that you transfer. So that's how they got around or penalizing guys like me.
Man, 0% interest on $100,000 for a couple of years. That's
I took
insane.
it.
All right. This next one is actually disgusting. So if you have a weak stomach, fast forward 120 seconds. We fly out to Nowhereville, North Carolina, absolutely middle of nowhere, and we're looking at a couple of apartment complexes. And we already had an apartment complex in the state, so we were kind of looking to expand that operation. We had a management team in place at Precision, and we thought, man, if we could just get a few hundred more units out here, maybe we just keep this and have our management operation in place, whatever. So we're going to tour this apartment complex, and everything's looking fine. 30 minutes into the tour, everything's fine. And then kind of towards the end, he's like, hey, hop in the back of this truck. I want to show you guys something. And he starts driving off property.
Who is this?
The guy, the broker.
Okay.
Yeah, the guy giving us the tour. So, he's like, oh, I got to take you back here to the sewage plant.
And we're like, wait, what? What did you just say? The sewage plant. We don't want to buy a sewage plant.
Yeah.
So there was no sanitary sewer connection in this municipality, in the middle of nowhere in North Carolina.
Well, I mean, there was other places. For some reason, this apartment complex was not hooked up to city sewer.
Yeah, it was in the middle of a city. The city was in the middle of nowhere, but it seemed like it was in the middle of this town. It's just, they didn't have a sewer connection. So they had to process their own shit on like the back 40. And they had this geezer. The guy had to be 70 or something.
Older than that maybe. And he's like, the sewage come right in this pipe from over there in the apartments, and see, we treat it right here. And then it was like this line of progression of waste.
Should I be taking notes?
Yeah, I mean, like, okay, how do I do this? Who's in charge of this? And he gets to the end, he's like, yeah, well, this clean water right here, you can drink this. Okay. I'm like, buddy, there's no way I'm drinking that when it just came out of their toilet, like upstream 50 feet.
Yeah.
Needless to say, we didn't buy the apartment complex. A couple years back, we looked at it and it was like, man, we probably should have bought that. But it was just the idea of treating your own crap.
Is that the only reason you didn't buy it?
That was the only reason.
Really? Yeah.
We were like, we couldn't get our head around that whole system and who's running it and what the liabilities would be for messing that up.
Getting quotes to repair it.
Someone might fall in.
It looked like a 50s moonshine gig.
Yeah, it was bad.
In the middle of Arkansas. It was not good. Anyway. Okay.
All right, keep it moving.
Arkansas.
Okay, so this next one, we have this apartment complex for
years,
a long time, 7-8 years, and it was built in 68 and early 70s, couple phases, and it was a boiler chiller property, and it had a condensing unit. So what that means is there's basically one giant HVAC unit cooling down water. That water is piped through the ground, through these apartments, and a fan blows over it, and that's how they get heat and air.
It's a massive cooling tower.
Exactly. Anyway, it needed repaired, and it was going to increase the cooling efficiency by like 20 or 30%, reduce the electricity bill by like half. And the electricity bill was like $16,000 or $17,000, maybe $20,000.
I don't remember how much it was going to reduce electricity, but the idea was, hey, we got 200 families here, and they need to have better cooling, and so we're going to invest in the property, and we're going to get a brand new cooling tower.
Yeah, we did it,
and we did it. Had the best HVAC company do the design, and it's going to work, and we install it.
Yeah,
and it happens to be a few feet taller than the last one.
See, the jury's still out on that. Was it actually taller? We went to court on this.
Yeah, I think we did. It was probably taller. Yeah,
I think it was maybe a little bit taller. Anyway, this lady, the basis of her complaint was, hey, I don't want to see this thing in my backyard, because she
backed up, a neighborhood that backed up to the apartment complex.
Yeah. And so now, it used to be lower than the fence from their eye level. Now above the fence, they can see this cooling tower.
Oh yeah.
And so instead of looking at mansard roof apartment, right? Because that's what's right behind it, is a mansard shingled roof apartment.
Yeah, asphalt shingles.
Yeah. Now they don't see that, and they see this cooling tower that's probably 12 feet, wide. And they ended up suing us.
Because of the visual or the sound?
Both. Both.
Wow.
It's craziness.
And so we thought we did something good, and we ended up embroiled in a 2-year lawsuit,
you couldn't
fighting.
just raise the fence a little bit, huh?
Oh, I think we did that.
Yeah, we did. We built.
There was multiple fences.
We built a fence around it so they couldn't see it anymore.
Yeah.
And actually
insulated that fence.
Insulated the fence. It attenuated some of the noise.
Yeah.
Not to be deterred. they were hell bent on making us move this cooling tower, which really wasn't an option.
No, that's not.
So sometimes when you think you're doing something good, you're not. You're going to get sued.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that one got turned over to insurance too. Another great reason to have insurance. All right, next one. Oh, do this. Okay, so this is the first retail center we bought, and it's at
it's in a pretty good location.
Can I say the location? I mean, it's pretty busy. Anyway, there's probably 50, 60,000 cars, maybe more.
It's a good location.
A day. And we start getting calls from the tenants about, some shit on our sign.
What, you mean like some dust and stuff, or like
that was my first thought as well.
Yeah.
And then we get out there and there's actual human feces on the sign. On the sign. And blew my mind. Absolutely blew my mind how there is shit on
feces
on the sign. I don't even know how you do that. So anyway, we had to hire a security guard specifically to stop the sign shitter.
Yeah.
So what happened? There was
The thing.
somebody was in the middle of the night.
I think one of the restaurants was
feeding.
feeding some homeless people, and they don't have anywhere to go to the bathroom, and he just ended up doing that and just thought, I hate these guys. I'm going to rub it on their sign.
Okay.
Hard corner monument sign.
Yeah, never thought that we would have that discussion, but that's what this show's about, is some of the weird things we run into owning property.
That's a funny one.
That's a good one. Okay, you do this next one.
All right, this next one is actually really interesting. Hire good security. We have owned apartments in some rougher areas, and this was one of those. And
workforce housing, baby.
Yeah, we call it workforce housing. And apparently, we hired a security guard, and luckily they had body cam because he's trying to escort somebody off the property, and the guy reaches for a gun, turns and shoots our security guard.
Wow.
And our security guard is pulled his gun and is shooting back.
Oh my gosh.
Ends up killing the guy.
Wow.
And the only reason he's alive to kill that guy is because when he grabs his gun and points it at the guy's bullet lands right in his hand, right in front of his body.
Gosh.
Luckily, him pulling his gun stopped the bullet, and he had enough wherewithal to fire again at this guy.
Gosh.
And the tenant dies right there on our property. And that guy, even though his hand was damaged, he was okay. And what an awesome job he did.
Wow.
The craziest part of that story is that happened super early in the morning, 4 in the morning or something. And by like 9 a.m., this dude is in our office with his exploded hand and cast, showing us the body cam footage. And it was just like,
this is incredible.
It blew my mind. How are you alive? How do you have video of this? You caught a bullet with your hand and saved the day. You're a hero, my man.
Yeah, and you couldn't pay me. I'm a coward. You can't pay me enough to do that job.
Yeah, really.
That guy needs a raise. Okay. So also in some of these apartment complexes, this one was in Oklahoma City, in a rougher area of Oklahoma City. First apartment complex we did in Oklahoma City. Last apartment complex we did in Oklahoma City.
But not because Oklahoma City isn't a great market. It is. It's a good market. We kind of bought this on a whim, and it was a little rougher area. But I guess we weren't doing our tenant visits, our unit walkthroughs.
Quite enough.
That was one that was uncomfortable to do a unit walkthrough. Full disclosure, it was a little risque. Yeah, but anyway, there was a massive fire. I mean, there's fires at apartment complexes. I mean, not all the time, but frequently. It's not uncommon. They're made out of flammable materials, and all it takes is somebody to knock a candle over and fall asleep, and then the whole thing is engulfed in flames. Well, this one was a meth lab.
Yeah,
it was a meth lab fire.
Yeah, that wasn't good.
It's not great. It's not great getting a phone call saying, "Hey."
It really wasn't good for the tenants. Now where are they going to get their meth?
That's right.
They got to go off property. I mean, it was literally a downer for everybody involved.
Yeah.
I felt bad, really. We had to ship it in.
Everything was renovated again.
Yeah.
Another great reason to have insurance in case your tenants cook meth.
Insurance and getting sued seems to be the theme here.
Again, yeah, but and one
stupidity is the theme on the next one.
Oh, stupidity.
Yeah.
Okay, what's the next one?
Yeah. So I'll tell you a story about a deal we almost did in Little Rock, and it was a retail deal. And I'll tell you the tenant in a second. But, back then we tried to save money on contracts sometimes. I kind of pretend I'm a lawyer and,
So you did them yourself?
And so I did a lot of the review myself and I had a pretty good handle on contract law, but I didn't really understand what clauses I needed to have in there to protect me. So we go non-refundable. Pass our due diligence with $250,000.
Which means if you don't buy the property,
It's
you're
gone.
not getting your $250,000 back.
Yeah, at least if you're an idiot like me and don't have the right clauses in your contract. So this property had a huge Gander Mountain. And so literally the day, like we go non-refundable at 5.
Yeah.
Like at 6 o'clock that evening, an article comes out about Gander Mountain is potentially going to file for bankruptcy.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, the timing was minutes apart.
And we launched the investment raise out to our investors
That
the same
afternoon.
day. Yeah. So it was all three the same afternoon.
Yeah, and I think it was an investor that called me and said, "Hey, bro, I see you launched this investment. You see this article?" And my stomach sank, and I was like, "Oh no!" So turns out the bank pulls the loan, even though they hadn't filed bankruptcy yet. The bank pulls the loan, and we can't get someone else on board in time to close, and I lost $250,000.
Wow. And you didn't want to buy it, right? Because, first of all,
Well, we did consider buying it.
Gander Mountain's, that's a big tenant, right? So
Yeah,
that was a big loss.
And so for those listening, get a good attorney, know what a material adverse change clause is, and have it in your contract so you don't lose $250,000 like I did, because that was a painful day.
I'll bet.
Yeah, long story short, material adverse change says if there's a material adverse, like if there's a massive change in what you presented me, what I'm buying, then I get the opportunity to back out. The lender had that contract in their commitment letter. We didn't have that in our contract.
Yeah, now we have it in all of them.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Learn most from your mistakes, guys. Thankfully, we lost $250,000, and by we, I mean Joel. So you don't have to. All right, next one.
it's the last one, I think.
Man.
Roll through them quick. Is that right? Did we do that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll let you hit this one.
So one of the craziest things that I've ever done was on an auction platform. We've talked about it before, where I had somehow found, I was looking on auctions because we had purchased some apartments on auction and done pretty well with them. So I was looking, and there was this deal in North Carolina, Jacksonville, North Carolina, really small town. I've never been to the state of North Carolina. I call the broker, and he kind of convinces me that maybe there's some value add here. And I went to my business partner, and I'm like, Victor, we need to take a look at this. We had just closed either a refi or a sale, and we had gotten this money, and Vic and I were like, okay, let's be safe with this. Let's not,
Don't fuck it up.
yeah, don't fuck it up. Don't risk it all. We just got this money, this $1 million, whatever it was. And somehow we get to bidding this auction, and we realize that there's not a lot of bidders, and that maybe we can win the auction.
It was the East Point refi. No. It was the lamplight sale.
Maybe.
Yeah.
And so we ended up bidding and winning the auction, which means we had to wire 10% of the purchase price, non-refundable, within 24 hours.
Right.
And so we ended up doing that. We wired $800,000 non-refundable on a property that I'd never seen and that I'd never been to the state in which this property was located.
You should not do that
And
very often.
I don't recommend people doing that. It was one of the scariest days of my life, actually.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah, so flying out to Jacksonville, if you haven't been to Jacksonville, North Carolina, when you get there, you arrive in an airport that has, I think, 3 or 4 gates.
Yeah, small.
I'm from Tulsa. I know about small airports, but this has 3 or 4 gates.
I mean, this whole population is probably 90,000.
And 80 of them are Marines. 80,000 of them are Marines.
Yeah, there's a huge Marine base there. So
that's problem number 1. Problem number 2 is you drive for a cool 45 minutes before you see anything but pine trees, anything at all. Mm-hmm. So you're just wondering, what did I do? Where am I? And what did I just buy?
somehow we made money on that property.
We did in my opinion, I worked on that project. We did an amazing renovation. I mean, that was new roof, new windows, new siding, take care of all the wood rot, new paint. There was some parking lot repairs, new landscaping in there. I mean, that was an overhaul of a deal. Sold that, did great.
Yeah, that was one of the crazier things is wiring non-refundable money on a property I'd never seen.
Insane.
So,
like we did last week.
Yeah.
That'll
See,
be
you wouldn't have done that if I wouldn't have
That's
blazed the trail
right.
for you.
Yeah, that'll be another episode though.
Well, guys, do not get into commercial real estate investing if you want a boring day job. Those are just some of the things you're going to come across in a day in the life.
Danger, losing money,
Getting
sued,
Yeah.
all that stuff. So
And get insurance. Get insurance. All right. That's it for this time. We will see you next week on how to invest in commercial real estate.
thanks, guys.